You might not be aware that you're part of a larger denominational family called the Christian and Missionary Alliance, sometimes the Alliance or the C&MA for short. And we're a network of about 2,000 churches in the U.S. and about 24,000 churches around the world. And so we're seeking to take the good news of Jesus and places around our country and really to the ends of the earth. And can I just share with you a couple things that are encouraging to me if you're wondering, like, I have no idea what this family called the Alliance is all about. Let me just share 5 things in a couple of minutes, and then we're going to dig into the message today. But here's a couple of things about that I'm excited about the Alliance and how Jesus is working among us today. We started 140 years ago, but last year, you'll see this next to the first one, a reason I'm encouraged. Last year, we're growing as a family, and if you want to put that next slide up there, we saw the most baptisms ever in our history as a denomination. That was amazing. So many changed lives. There's a name behind, There's a name behind every one of those people. Anybody get baptized in the last 2 years here, part of Edgewater Alliance? All right, great. Yeah, seen a number of you. Way to go. Fantastic. Secondly, God is stirring in the hearts of youth. It's neat to hear about the trip to the Honduras. Last year, we had what's called the Life Conference. Close to 6,000 high schoolers gather. They do it in different places every 3 years. This was in Indianapolis this time, and that's a picture from there. But so many high schoolers, 800 of that 6,000 saying, hey, I'm open to whatever God calls in my life, and we're seeing lots of good things happen. Reason number 3 to be encouraged, missions is going global. So the Alliance is in 88 countries. 60 of those have networks. 5 of them are larger than the U.S. Alliance. So like I was in Indonesia 2 months ago, and the Indonesia Alliance is 3,000 churches. We're 2,000 churches. But 29 of those networks, those 60 networks, are sending out missionaries and just make it so it's being reproduced. Let me give one example. The next slide here is in Peru. 6 months ago, they celebrated their 100th anniversary. So 100 years ago, 1925, 3 missionaries went to Peru. It was very difficult, rough sledding, and they were discouraged. Fast forward 100 years, they could never have dreamed that there would be that kind of group of people gathering to celebrate. In Lima alone, the capital city, there are 85 Alliance churches in Lima alone, 450 in the country, and they're sending out dozens of missionaries. And the kind of work they're doing, the next slide here you'll see is all kinds of ways that they're reaching out. 2 of my nephews are doctors in Gabon, Central Africa. One's a surgeon, one's a family practice. But just saying we can make a difference. My sister is a missionary in Senegal. I have a brother who's with his wife in Burkina Faso. But just in so many different ways, taking the good news of Jesus. Reason number 4 to be encouraged is that our denomination is looking more like God's family in heaven. We are now a majority, or you might say majority. In other words, people who look like me are now the minority in our denomination. And I celebrate that because I just think God wants people from every nation and ethnicity and group. In fact, today, just in the U.S. Alliance, we worship in 38 different languages. The church I was sent out from last year had 6 language groups meeting every week. I pastored the English congregation, but there was Arabic, Spanish, Vietnamese, Tagalog. And so that's something very encouraging. And then finally, just one more here. I could talk for a while, but number 5, churches in the U.S. are multiplying. And in the next 3 years, there are 374 churches like you with Relationship Alliance saying, hey, we want to reach out and make an impact. Thank you for giving. The next slide just says sort of how it all happens. It's funded by the Great Commission Fund. When you give to global missions or however it works here at Edgewater, you're making an impact. And the goal here is all of Jesus for all the world. And saying, we just want people to encounter him. We want, it was so good. Your worship team, by the way, wow, you guys do a great job. They were well prepared, and I love worshiping both services with them. In fact, I was talking to some people out in the lobby at the beginning of this service. I thought, I got to get inside. I want to worship again with the team. But we want people around the world to encounter Jesus and say, he came for me, like he loves me, and I can have a relationship with him. So that's our heartbeat as a family of Alliance churches.